Look at a modern semi-truck rolling down the highway. You are watching a massive, high-tech fortress hauling an absolute fortune. Packed inside that trailer could easily be $10 million worth of electronics, pharmaceuticals, or aerospace components. But the logistics company operating this rig doesn't hold the title to a single microchip or engine part sitting in the back. If the vehicle crashes and the load is destroyed, how does the transport company survive the catastrophic financial fallout? The physical act of driving down the road is actually a high-stakes exercise in navigating massive, invisible financial risk. Legally, the transport company is acting as a bailee. They are a temporary custodian entrusted with someone else's property. Because they have physical control of the goods, they carry immense legal liability for any loss or damage during the journey. Normally, if you want to buy an insurance policy to protect a piece of property, you need to prove that you own it. This creates a dangerous dilemma. The carrier is on the hook for a multi-million-dollar disaster, but they lack the traditional ownership rights normally required to insure against it. To keep the logistics industry from stalling under the weight of this risk, the law provides a specific solution. We find it written into the Marine Insurance Act of 1963, specifically under Section 7, subsection 2. This clause redefines who can buy a policy. You don't need a deed or a receipt of purchase. You only need to prove that you would be financially harmed or prejudiced by the loss of the property. Since the trucking company can be sued if the cargo is ruined, that potential liability legally grants them an official insurable interest in the goods. In practice, transport firms use this right to purchase specialized carrier's liability insurance for the trip. The legislation deliberately separates the legal right to insure from the strict requirement of owning the asset outright. So what stops a malicious carrier from insuring a load for double its value, driving into a river, and walking away rich? That scenario is blocked by a core economic guardrail known as the principle of indemnity. This chart compares total cargo value against the carrier's actual liability. If liability is lower, the payout is strictly limited to that smaller number. Section 10 legally codifies this restriction, stating a partial interest is entirely valid and insurable. The policy is designed to absorb the financial blow of a lawsuit and make the logistics company whole again. It is never allowed to generate a profit. By capping the payout, the legal framework protects legitimate trade while aggressively stripping away any incentive for insurance fraud. When that semi-truck finally pulls into a logistics hub and unloads its cargo intact, the tension of the journey resolves. This logistical flow relies on a legal framework that recognizes a simple distinction. Insurable interest is not the same as ownership. Look at this map of global maritime and terrestrial trade routes. This exact legal nuance applies across the entire network. Granting temporary custodians the ability to insure their liability is what allows the international supply chain to manage risk at a global scale. If carriers were forced to bear the full weight of every accident without the safety net of liability insurance, the financial risk of moving high-value goods would become prohibitive for most transport firms. This legal recognition, the right to insure based on liability rather than title, is the practical solution that allows billions of dollars in goods to cross borders under the care of people who don't own them.